Imagine waking up every day with a mind that feels clear, calm, and unshaken, no matter what life throws at you. A mind so strong that nothing outside can disturb your peace. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about mastering your response to them. Today, we're diving into the power of inner peace, not as something you find, but something you create. Get ready to learn how to build a life where your peace is unbreakable, no matter the storm. Stay with me, because the journey to true calm begins now. You've probably heard people talk about the importance of inner peace. But how often do we truly understand what it takes to build it? It's not something that just magically appears one day. It's not a destination that you reach when everything around you is calm, and it's definitely not a passive experience. Real inner peace is a daily, active choice, a practice. It's the result of our decisions, our habits, and how we choose to face the chaos in our lives. If you're listening to this now, there's a part of you that is tired. Tired of being shaken by external forces, by people, situations, even by the noise in your own mind. It's a struggle we all face, especially in the world we live in today. Constant demands, endless distractions, and an unrelenting sense of urgency that doesn't seem to let up. But what if I told you that despite all of that, you could build a fortress of calm within yourself? What if I told you that you can walk through life unshaken, no matter what happens around you? That's what this part is about. It's about the foundation of inner peace, the very ground you need to stand strong when the world wants to pull you under. To build that foundation, there's one crucial thing to understand first. Inner peace doesn't start with the world around you. It starts with you. You see, most people think that peace comes from external circumstances. They think it's about having the perfect job, the ideal relationship, or an escape from the pressures of life. And while those things can certainly contribute to our sense of peace, they don't create it. In fact, relying on external conditions to bring peace is a recipe for frustration. Because what happens when things aren't going your way? What happens when life throws a curveball, or someone disappoints you? That's when the foundation crumbles and chaos rushes in. Inner peace begins with something deeper. It starts with your mindset, your ability to choose how you respond to the events in your life, no matter how difficult or disruptive. It begins with how you manage your thoughts, how you breathe, how you choose to perceive challenges. The foundation of peace is built on your ability to center yourself, no matter what's going on outside. And the beauty of that is, it's always within your control. The first step in building this foundation is self-awareness. You can't master your mind until you first become aware of it. Do you know what's going on inside your head? Are you aware of the emotions that arise in reaction to external triggers? Most people move through life on autopilot, reacting to the world around them without ever questioning why they feel the way they do. But here's the thing, your thoughts and emotions don't have to control you. Think about it. How often do you let your thoughts dictate your mood? You're late for work, and suddenly your mind races. You're behind, you're overwhelmed, you're frustrated. Or someone says something that triggers you, and instantly your peace slips away. It's easy to be swept up by these reactions, but what if you paused before you reacted? What if you observed your thoughts and emotions as they arose, without allowing them to take over? This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting in silence or meditating, although those can help. It's about being fully present in the moment, noticing your thoughts, and then consciously choosing how to respond. It's realizing that your thoughts are not necessarily the truth. You can choose to challenge them, to let go of the ones that don't serve you, and to replace them with something more constructive. The second pillar in building inner peace is emotional regulation. Your emotions are powerful. They can either elevate you or drag you down. But emotions are just energy. They're signals, not facts. When you feel angry, anxious, or frustrated, it's a signal that something needs your attention. But how you respond to those emotions determines whether they control you or whether you maintain your power. In those moments of intense emotion, the practice of pausing is key. Taking a moment to breathe, to step back, to ask yourself, is this emotion serving me? Is it aligned with the life I want to create? You can't change the emotions you feel, but you can change how you respond to them. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing or denying your feelings. It means acknowledging them and choosing how to deal with them in a way that doesn't sacrifice your peace. Now let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting your inner peace. Too often, people-pleasers and those who struggle with self-worth allow others to dictate their emotions. They say yes when they should say no, they take on too much, and they allow people to take advantage of their time, energy, and resources. When this happens, it's impossible to feel at peace. Setting boundaries is a skill. It's learning to say no without guilt, to protect your time and energy without explanation. Boundaries create a safe space around your peace. They tell the world, I will not allow anything to disturb my center. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're self-respect. And they're essential if you want to maintain inner peace amidst the noise and demands of life. So, how do you start building this foundation? It starts with small, deliberate actions. It starts with taking time every day to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, what am I carrying today? What thoughts, emotions, and energy am I holding onto that aren't mine to carry? Release them. Let go. Practice saying no to the things that drain you and yes to the things that nourish your soul. But it also means shifting your perspective. Peace isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about learning to meet discomfort with calmness. Life will always bring challenges. There will always be storms. But with the right mindset and the right practices, you can weather any storm without losing your peace. You can stand firm in the face of chaos, knowing that your inner world is a place of strength, not fragility. Now let's go a step further. The deeper you go into the practice of building inner peace, the more you'll realize that peace is not just an absence of conflict or stress. It's not just a passive state of being. True peace is active. It's a commitment to yourself, a daily choice to protect your energy, to nourish your mind, and to prioritize what matters most. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect in your life. When your inner peace is solid, it affects everything around you, your relationships, your work, your health. You begin to approach life with more clarity and intention. The more you practice, the more you realize that peace isn't just a gift you receive. It's something you earn. It's something you work for every single day. You build it through your habits, your choices, and your unwavering commitment to your own well-being. When you prioritize inner peace, you create a life that feels lighter, more purposeful, and more in alignment with your true self. But don't expect it to be easy. It's called a practice for a reason. There will be days when you slip up, when you let your emotions get the better of you, when external circumstances challenge your peace. That's okay. It's part of the process. The key is to keep coming back. Keep choosing peace, even when it's hard. Keep building that foundation, brick by brick, until it becomes so strong that no storm can shake it. And that's just the beginning. In the next part, we'll explore how to strengthen your inner peace even more, how to maintain it when life feels like it's falling apart, and how to cultivate a mindset that keeps you unshaken no matter what. But first, remember this. Building inner peace is the most important work you can do. It's the foundation for everything else in your life. Start with yourself, and everything else will follow. Now let's take a moment. Take a deep breath. Center yourself. And get ready, because the journey to inner peace is just getting started. In the first part, we explored the essential foundation of inner peace and how to create a solid core that remains unshaken in the face of life's challenges. But now we dive deeper. If the foundation of inner peace is like building the walls of a house, mastering your mind is the roof that protects and strengthens everything inside. This is the point where true resilience begins, the ability to stand tall and unwavering, no matter what comes at you. You see, the mind is a powerful thing. It can be your greatest ally, or it can be your worst enemy. Most of the time, we don't realize how much our thoughts influence our lives. They shape how we feel, how we react, and how we move through the world. But when you learn to master your mind, something incredible happens. You stop being a prisoner of your thoughts. You stop letting every random thought, every fleeting emotion, dictate the course of your day. You become the commander of your own mental battlefield. And that's when resilience is truly forged. The mind is constantly bombarded with stimuli. You wake up to an alarm, check your phone for messages, scroll through social media, and before you know it, you're already overwhelmed. It's not just the external chaos, though, it's the internal chatter. The voice in your head that tells you you're not enough, that you're not doing enough, or that you're always falling short. But what if I told you that voice doesn't have to control you? That you can train your mind to be the calm amidst the storm? Mastering your mind isn't about suppressing thoughts or emotions. It's not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. No, it's about learning how to observe your thoughts, how to understand where they come from, and how to take control of them. It's the ability to step back and say, is this thought helping me or is it holding me back? It's about becoming aware of the patterns in your thinking that keep you stuck in the past, afraid of the future, or trapped in negative cycles. And once you're aware of those patterns, you can change them. So how do we begin? The first step in mastering your mind is awareness. The power to recognize what's going on in your mind is the first step toward controlling it. Awareness means noticing when you're starting to spiral. When a single negative thought takes hold and begins to affect your entire mood. It's noticing when your mind races with worries about the future, or when your mind replays past mistakes over and over again. When you bring awareness to your thoughts, you stop letting them run on autopilot. You stop being a slave to your mind. You become its master. But awareness alone isn't enough. It's important, but it's just the beginning. The next step is acceptance. This might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. When you're aware of your thoughts, it's easy to feel frustrated with them. You might find yourself thinking, why do I always feel this way? Why can't I just stop these thoughts? The key is to accept them without judgment. Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with the negative thoughts or that you let them define you. It simply means you don't resist them. You don't try to push them away or pretend they don't exist. Think of it like a storm. If you try to fight the storm, it only becomes stronger. But if you accept the storm for what it is, you can choose how to navigate through it. You can move through the storm without being swept away by it. Your thoughts are like storms, they come and go. But if you resist them, you only create more chaos. Acceptance is the ability to say, yes, this is how I'm feeling right now, and it's okay. But it doesn't have to control me. That's when you start to detach from your thoughts, and that's when you begin to regain your power. Now that we've touched on awareness and acceptance, let's talk about mental discipline, the ability to control your thoughts, focus your mind, and redirect your energy. Mental discipline is the foundation of resilience. Without it, you're at the mercy of your emotions, your distractions, and your impulses. But with mental discipline, you can stay focused on what matters most, no matter what's going on around you. One of the most effective ways to build mental discipline is through mindfulness and meditation. Meditation isn't some mystical practice reserved for yogis and monks. It's a tool for everyone. It's a practice that teaches you how to slow down, how to focus your mind, and how to bring your attention back to the present moment. Through regular practice, you can learn to observe your thoughts without becoming attached to them. You learn to see them as just thoughts, not as truths or commands you must obey. And here's the thing. Mental discipline doesn't just help you in moments of stress or anxiety. It carries over into every area of your life. It helps you stay focused on your goals, make better decisions, and avoid getting caught up in distractions. It helps you avoid the trap of reactive living, where every situation dictates your emotional state. Instead, with mental discipline, you can respond thoughtfully and intentionally, rather than react impulsively. But don't expect this process to be easy. Mental discipline takes time. It takes consistent practice. It's about training your mind every single day. It's about developing the strength to say no to distractions, to resist the urge to give in to negative emotions, and to stay focused on your goals. This is where resilience is truly built, the ability to keep going, no matter how many obstacles you face. Resilience is about bouncing back from challenges, but it's also about not allowing those challenges to stop you from moving forward. It's about facing adversity with courage, not because you have no fear, but because you've learned to control your mind in the face of that fear. Let's also talk about self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has an incredible impact on your resilience. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, or that you're incapable, your mind will believe it. Your self-talk creates your reality. So how do we change that? By choosing to speak to ourselves with kindness, encouragement, and positivity. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or ignoring challenges. It means being realistic and compassionate with yourself. It means saying things like, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm working on it. I am resilient. I can handle this. Your mind listens to everything you say, and the more you speak to yourself with confidence and self-belief, the more resilient you'll become. Mastering your mind also means letting go of limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs that hold us back. Maybe it's a belief that you're not smart enough to succeed, or that you'll never be good enough. These beliefs are like chains that keep you trapped in a mental prison. But the good news is, you have the power to break those chains. You can challenge those beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. Start by questioning the beliefs that limit you. Ask yourself, is this belief actually true? Where did it come from? Is there evidence to support it? And if there's no evidence, why am I holding on to it? The more you challenge your limiting beliefs, the more you'll start to realize that they're just stories you've been telling yourself, stories that can be rewritten. And as you rewrite those stories, you'll begin to see a shift. you'll notice that your mindset starts to change. You'll start to see obstacles as opportunities, challenges as stepping stones, and setbacks as temporary detours. This shift in mindset is the key to true resilience. It's the ability to adapt, to grow, and to bounce back stronger each time life tries to knock you down. In the final part of this journey, we'll dive deeper into how to nurture this resilience, how to keep your mind strong, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. But before we get there, remember this: mastering your mind is the foundation of your resilience. It's about understanding that no matter what life throws at you, you have the power to decide how you respond. You have the power to choose your thoughts, to change your mindset, and to keep moving forward with unwavering confidence. As we continue this journey, let's remember that the mind is not something to be tamed, but something to be empowered. When you learn to master it, there's no challenge you can't overcome. When you master your mind, you unlock your true potential. The journey continues, and your resilience is only just beginning. In the journey we've taken so far, we've built a solid foundation for inner peace and developed a resilient mindset. We've laid the groundwork for resilience by. The most resilient people aren't those who never feel anger, sadness, or frustration. No, the most resilient people are those who know how to process and control their emotions, not let their emotions control them. Emotional control isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about understanding what you feel and then choosing how to respond. It's one thing to feel angry or sad, but it's entirely another to let those feelings dictate your actions, your choices, or your quality of life. That's the line we're going to walk today. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that our emotions are uncontrollable. You've probably had moments when you felt like your emotions were just too much, overwhelming you with a force that you couldn't stop. But here's a powerful truth: you are not your emotions. Your emotions are temporary, fleeting, and change with time. They are signals, not commands. They show you what's happening in your inner world, but they don't have to dictate your behavior. The power to control your emotional responses is yours. And it's this power that separates those who live in reaction to life from those who live with purpose and intention. So, how do we take control? The first step to emotional control is awareness, just like we talked about when mastering the mind. You have to be aware of what you're feeling before you can decide what to do with it. It sounds simple, but in practice, it's not always easy. Most of the time, we're so busy that we don't take the time to check in with ourselves. We're running from one task to the next, reacting to external circumstances, unaware of how we're feeling. But the truth is, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. To truly gain emotional control, you need to stop and notice what's happening inside you. When you feel that rush of anger, frustration, or fear building up, don't just react. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Take a step back and observe the emotion. Ask yourself, what's happening here? Why do I feel this way? What's triggering this response? This awareness is the first step in breaking the automatic response to external stimuli. When you gain awareness, you no longer become a puppet to your emotions. You become the one in control, choosing whether or not to engage with what's happening inside you. But awareness alone isn't enough. It's the beginning, but it's just the beginning. After you acknowledge your emotions, the next step is detachment. Yes, you heard that right, detachment. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say when talking about emotional control. We're often told that we should embrace our feelings, that we should feel deeply, that we should let our emotions flow freely. And while I absolutely believe in the importance of feeling, there's a critical difference between feeling and being consumed by those feelings. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It doesn't mean you shut off your feelings. It means you stop identifying with them. Think of it like this. When you're walking through a busy street, you can hear the sounds of traffic, people talking, maybe even someone yelling. But you don't stand there, absorbed in every noise around you. You don't let every honk or shout steal your focus. You acknowledge the noise, but you keep moving. You don't let it disrupt your flow. This is what detachment looks like with your emotions. Instead of being swept away by your anger, sadness, or anxiety, you recognize the emotion, acknowledge it, but don't let it take control of you. You don't allow your emotions to dictate your decisions, your actions, or your mindset. You acknowledge them as temporary and choose not to let them drive you. Once you've gained awareness and detachment, the third step is response. This is where true emotional control shines. You can't always control what happens to you. You can't control the way people treat you or the circumstances that life throws your way. But you can control how you respond. You have the power to choose your reactions, and this is where you can truly exercise strength. You don't need to respond with anger when someone insults you. You don't need to react to every criticism or challenge with frustration. Instead, you can choose to respond with calmness, with clarity, and with intention. Instead of allowing yourself to be swept up in the tide of emotions, you take a step back, breathe, and choose how you want to show up. You decide who you want to be in that moment, regardless of what's happening around you. But emotional control isn't just about responding to external situations. It's also about how you handle your inner world. Self-talk plays a huge role here. How you speak to yourself in times of stress, frustration, or disappointment will either fuel your emotional reactions or help you stay grounded. Most of us are our own worst critics. When we feel defeated, we often pile on the negativity, saying things like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never get this right," or "I'm failing." But this kind of self-talk only intensifies the negative emotions. It feeds them. To build emotional control, you need to change the way you talk to yourself. Instead of using self-criticism as a tool for growth, use self-compassion. Instead of saying, "I'm failing," say, "I'm learning." Instead of "this is too hard," say, "I'm getting better." Self-talk is a tool that shapes your emotions, and when you use it wisely, it can help you stay calm, focused, and strong even when life gets tough. Another aspect of emotional control is understanding that not all emotions require a response. Let that sink in for a moment. Not every emotional wave needs to be acted upon. Sometimes our emotions are just a signal, a fleeting moment that will pass on its own. But often we make the mistake of acting immediately on what we feel. We send that angry text, or react harshly to a comment, or let a moment of anxiety derail our whole day. When you learn emotional control, you learn to let the wave pass. You don't need to respond to every emotional surge with action. Instead, you pause, breathe, and give yourself time to reflect. Is this emotion telling you something important? Is there a deeper message, or is it just a temporary feeling that will pass with time? This ability to pause and assess your emotions before reacting is one of the most powerful tools you can have in your emotional toolkit. In addition to awareness, detachment, response, and self-talk, emotional control is also about choosing your environment. The people you spend time with, the situations you put yourself in, and the media you consume all influence your emotional state. If you're constantly around people who drain your energy, who stir up drama, or who encourage negative emotions, it will be much harder to maintain emotional control. You need to surround yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you in positive ways, and who inspire you to stay grounded. The same goes for the media you consume. If you're constantly watching negative news or engaging with content that fuels your fears and anxieties, you're setting yourself up for emotional turmoil. Choose content that uplifts, educates, and inspires. Choose environments that promote peace, positivity, and growth. When you consciously choose your environment, you create a space that supports your emotional control and allows you to maintain your inner peace. But there's one last thing I want to address when it comes to emotional control, and that is the importance of practicing emotional release. You see, emotions aren't meant to be bottled up inside. If you hold on to anger, sadness, or frustration without releasing them, they can build up and create even more emotional turbulence. Emotional release is the process of expressing and letting go of these feelings in a healthy way. This might look like talking to a friend, journaling, crying, or even physical activities like exercise or yoga. The key is to let those emotions flow through you without holding on to them. Releasing emotions is not a sign of weakness, it's a powerful way to take control. When you express your emotions and let them go, you don't carry the weight of them with you. You release their grip, and in doing so, you free yourself from emotional burdens. As we wrap up this discussion on emotional control, remember that mastering your emotions is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Emotional control is about developing habits, skills, and tools that allow you to take charge of your emotional world, no matter what life throws at you. You can train yourself to become stronger, more resilient, and more centered with every challenge you face. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but you are not defined by them. You are defined by how you choose to respond to them. When you take control of your emotions, you take control of your life. You stop living in reaction to the world, and you start living with intention. You become the calm in the storm, the anchor amidst the chaos. And that, my friend, is where true power lies. The ability to stand firm, to choose your response, and to stay grounded, no matter what. That's the power of emotional control. Resilience. It's one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop. But let me make something clear right off the bat. Resilience is not about being immune to hardship. It's not about avoiding pain, failure, or difficulty. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Resilience is about how we deal with adversity when it comes. It's about how we pick ourselves up after we've been knocked down. It's about how we adapt, learn, and grow in the face of challenge. And I want you to understand this. You are resilient. You may not realize it yet, but it's inside of you. You've faced difficulties before. Maybe you felt overwhelmed. Maybe you've been on the brink of giving up, but you didn't. You kept going. You found a way through. That's resilience. And the more we understand what resilience is, the better equipped we are to use it when life knocks us down again. Because believe me, it will. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect it. But here's the secret. Every adversity is an opportunity to grow stronger. You've heard it before. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But there's more to that saying than just toughing it out. Resilience is a skill that can be developed. It's not something you either have or you don't. You don't have to be born with it. You cultivate it. And the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Let's break it down. What does it take to be resilient? The first thing is belief in yourself. You have to know deep down that no matter how tough things get, you have the strength to overcome them. The reason people give up in the face of adversity is because they lose sight of that belief. They forget their own power. But here's the truth. You have everything you need inside of you right now to overcome any challenge, any setback. The key is to believe in your own ability to adapt, learn, and keep moving forward. Resilience is about recognizing that obstacles are not roadblocks. They are detours, paths that challenge you to grow, to learn, and to push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. And it's about not being afraid to take those detours, even when they're uncomfortable. You won't always be able to control your circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them. That leads me to the next essential component of resilience, mindset. Your mindset shapes how you respond to adversity. Are you someone who sees a challenge as an opportunity? Or do you see it as something that will defeat you? The reality is that we all have a choice in how we perceive obstacles. When things go wrong, we can either choose to see the worst in it, get lost in self-pity, or we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth. Your mindset is the lens through which you see your world, and it's up to you to choose whether that lens is empowering or disempowering. For example, when something goes wrong, many people immediately jump into what I call the victim mindset. They feel helpless, as if the world is against them. They dwell on what went wrong, replay the mistakes, and think that they'll never be able to recover. But resilient people don't fall into this trap. They choose a different lens, the growth mindset. They ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I use this setback to get better? In other words, resilience is about focusing on the solution, not the problem. It's about having the strength to not let the negative circumstances around you dictate your future. The greatest innovators, the world changers, the people who have shaped history, they didn't get there by avoiding adversity. They got there by embracing it, by facing it head-on with the mindset that they could handle whatever came their way. And that's where grit comes in. Grit is another key element of resilience. Grit is about persistence. It's the ability to keep going when you want to give up. It's the mental fortitude to keep pushing forward, even when things get hard. When you develop grit, you stop seeing setbacks as failure. You start seeing them as stepping stones to success. You learn that failing isn't the end. Failing is just part of the process. One of the most important things about resilience is that it's not just about bouncing back. It's about bouncing forward. Every challenge, every setback, every failure is an opportunity for you to grow. It's a chance to learn, to get better, to adapt. And the more you do this, the more resilient you become. I want to challenge you right now to think about a time when you overcame a difficult situation. Think about a time when life knocked you down, but you got back up. It could be anything, a personal setback, a professional challenge, or a relationship struggle. Take a moment and reflect on how you got through it. What did you learn about yourself in the process? How did you change? Did you emerge stronger? And if you could go back and face that situation again, how would you approach it differently now? The key to resilience is not just surviving adversity, but learning from it. The more you practice this, the more you start to see that life's challenges aren't meant to break you. They're meant to shape you into the person you need to become to live your best life. Now, we've talked a lot about mindset, belief, and grit, but there's something else that's essential to resilience, and that's self-compassion. I want to say this loud and clear. Resilience doesn't mean being hard on yourself. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Self-compassion is the key to enduring adversity with grace. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to be your own worst critic. You might think you should be stronger, tougher, better. But here's the thing, you're human. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. Resilience doesn't mean you never feel pain or frustration. It means that you allow yourself to feel those things without letting them define you. It means that you show yourself the same kindness, patience, and understanding that you would show a friend going through the same thing. This is why self-compassion is so important for resilience. You cannot push yourself to grow if you're constantly beating yourself up. Instead of focusing on your shortcomings, focus on what you've learned, what you've overcome, and what's next. Be gentle with yourself and keep moving forward, one step at a time. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small step forward, every small victory, is a sign that you're building resilience. Another key part of resilience is supporting your mental and physical health. I know this seems obvious, but it's worth repeating. You can't expect to bounce back from adversity if you're not taking care of yourself. Physical health impacts your mental health, and your mental health impacts your resilience. This means that to stay resilient, you need to prioritize things like sleep, exercise, nutrition, and stress management. When you're physically strong, you're mentally strong. And I want to leave you with one final thought. Resilience isn't a one-time thing. It's something that you build every single day. Every day is a chance to strengthen your resilience. It's a muscle that needs regular practice. Some days will be easier than others, but the more you practice resilience, the more it becomes a natural part of who you are. When you look at adversity, you don't see it as something that will defeat you. You see it as something that will make you stronger. You don't run away from hardship. You face it with the belief that you can get through it and come out better on the other side. And when life throws its next challenge your way, you're ready. You've trained your mind, body, and spirit to be resilient. You've built the foundation, and now you're unstoppable. So what's next? Keep building your resilience. Embrace the challenges that come your way. Use them to grow. And remember, you are more resilient than you know. Life is tough, but so are you. Peace. Resilience. Two of the most powerful qualities you can cultivate in life, and two of the most essential when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world around us. But here's the truth. Peace and resilience are not just abstract concepts. They are habits. They are practices that we intentionally choose every single day. It's not enough to simply wish for peace, to hope for resilience when the going gets tough. We must create them. We must build them, layer by layer, until they become the foundation of our lives. Now, you might be wondering, how do I create these habits? How do I develop lasting peace and resilience in my life? The first step is understanding that these qualities don't come from external circumstances. They don't come from being constantly busy or constantly distracted. In fact, they often come when we take a step back, slow down, and start intentionally shaping our inner world. Peace and resilience aren't about being untouched by life's challenges. They're about how we respond to those challenges, how we develop the strength to endure, and how we stay grounded amidst chaos. Let's talk about peace first. True peace is not the absence of problems, the absence of noise, or the absence of conflict. True peace is an inner state that we cultivate no matter what's happening around us. And to create lasting peace in our lives, we must create habits that nurture that peace every single day. These habits are simple but profound. They might not seem like much on the surface, but over time, they accumulate into something powerful. The first habit of peace is mindful presence. You cannot experience peace if you're always thinking about the future, always dwelling on the past, or constantly rushing through your day. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, fully experiencing life as it unfolds without distraction. And here's the thing, mindfulness isn't something that's reserved for moments of stillness. It's a way of living. Whether you're eating, walking, talking, or working, you can practice mindfulness. It's about giving your full attention to whatever you're doing, without rushing through it, without letting your mind wander into worry, fear, or doubt. Start with your breath. Breath is the foundation of mindfulness, and it's one of the simplest tools we have to cultivate peace. Take a moment right now, wherever you are, and focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a moment, and exhale through your mouth. Notice how that simple act of focusing on your breath immediately brings you back into the present moment. It pulls you out of the chaos of your thoughts and into the stillness of the now. This is peace in action. Now, you may think that cultivating peace is only about slowing down and breathing, but it's also about creating boundaries. boundaries to protect your peace. Without boundaries, peace can easily be compromised. The world around us is full of distractions, demands, and expectations, and if we're not careful, we can become overwhelmed by everything and everyone. That's where boundaries come in. Boundaries allow us to protect our energy, protect our time, and protect our mental and emotional well-being. Boundaries are not walls, they are conscious choices. It's about deciding what you will allow into your life and what you won't. It's about saying no to things that drain you, to relationships that aren't healthy, and to commitments that take you away from your center. You can't pour from an empty cup, so creating boundaries is a way of ensuring that your cup remains full. You don't have to explain your boundaries to anyone. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Your peace is sacred, and setting boundaries allows you to guard that peace fiercely. The next habit that contributes to lasting peace is self-compassion. This is one of the most important and often overlooked habits when it comes to building peace. We are often our own worst critics, constantly judging ourselves, beating ourselves up for mistakes, and holding ourselves to impossible standards. But true peace comes when we learn to treat ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that we would offer a close friend. Self-compassion means accepting yourself fully, flaws and all, and allowing yourself to make mistakes without letting them define you. It means not berating yourself for not being perfect, but rather seeing each mistake as an opportunity to learn and grow. When you practice self-compassion, you free yourself from the constant cycle of self-judgment and guilt, and instead create space for peace to flourish. Self-compassion also ties into the concept of forgiveness. It's hard to experience peace if you're holding on to resentment, anger, or unforgiveness. When we hold on to grudges, we carry that weight with us every day. Forgiveness is not about condoning what others have done. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of holding on to that pain. It's about choosing peace over bitterness, freedom over resentment. The more you practice forgiveness, the lighter you become, and the more peace you create in your life. Now let's shift gears and talk about resilience, the other cornerstone of a peaceful and grounded life. Resilience is not just about bouncing back after hardship. It's about growing stronger because of hardship. It's about learning how to handle life's challenges with grace, without allowing them to break you. And just like peace, resilience is a habit, something that you build over time, step by step. The first habit of resilience is mindset. Resilience is deeply connected to the way you perceive life's challenges. If you see setbacks as failures, you will feel defeated by them. But if you see setbacks as opportunities for growth, you will be more likely to persevere and learn from them. Your mindset is the lens through which you view your world, and if you want to be more resilient, you must cultivate a mindset that embraces challenges as a natural part of life. Start by shifting your perspective. When things go wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? This simple shift in mindset will transform your ability to respond to adversity. Instead of seeing failure as the end, you will begin to see it as just a stepping stone on the way to success. The second habit of resilience is self-discipline. Resilience requires the ability to keep going, even when you don't feel like it. It's about having the mental toughness to keep pushing forward, even when the road gets tough. Self-discipline means showing up every day, even when it's hard. It means committing to your goals and your values, no matter how challenging things get. Developing self-discipline takes practice, but it's essential for building resilience. Start by setting small, achievable goals for yourself and consistently working toward them. Consistency is key. It's not about making huge leaps all at once. It's about taking small steps every single day that build momentum and lead to long-term growth. Over time, these small acts of self-discipline will add up to a deep sense of inner strength and resilience. The next habit of resilience is emotional regulation. Life is full of ups and downs, and your emotions can sometimes feel like they're pulling you in every direction. But to be truly resilient, you need to be able to regulate your emotions, especially in moments of stress or crisis. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond to them. When you're faced with a difficult situation, instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to breathe. Step back and allow yourself the space to process what you're feeling. When you take a breath, you create the space between stimulus and reaction, and in that space, you have the power to choose your response. This habit of emotional regulation will not only help you stay grounded during tough times, but will also help you make more thoughtful, intentional decisions that align with your values. Lastly, resilience is built through community. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to build resilience is isolating themselves. They think they need to do it all alone, but the truth is, no one can go through life's challenges alone. Building a resilient life requires surrounding yourself with people who support you, who lift you up, and who challenge you to be better. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Lean on your community, whether that's family, friends, or a support group. Share your struggles, ask for advice, and listen to others who have faced similar challenges. Building resilience is not just about self-reliance. It's about interdependence, the ability to rely on others when needed and to be there for others in turn. To wrap up, creating habits for lasting peace and resilience is a lifelong practice. It's about choosing every single day to cultivate inner calm, to approach challenges with strength, and to build a life that aligns with your deepest values. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Start with small steps, one habit at a time, and before you know it, you'll have created a life that is peaceful, resilient, and unshakable. Keep practicing these habits, and remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger. And in the next part, we'll explore how to nurture that resilience and inner peace even further by creating an environment that supports your well-being. We'll look at how your surroundings, both physical and mental, can either build or break your sense of peace. Stay tuned, because what we discuss next is key to maintaining the inner strength you've just begun to cultivate. Keep going, you've got this. As we conclude this journey, one thing becomes crystal clear. Mastery of your inner world is the key to living a life that is truly yours. No matter what's going on outside, no matter how chaotic, stressful, or unpredictable life may get, if you can anchor yourself in your inner world, if you can remain steadfast in your peace and your purpose, then nothing can move you from your center. This is the true power of inner mastery. The power to control your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, it's all within you. It has always been within you. The problem is that too many people, myself included, at one time, look for answers in the external world. We search for validation from others, for circumstances to be just right, for the perfect environment, the perfect moment. We believe that peace and power come from outside us. But that's a trap. Real strength, the kind of strength that lasts, the kind that sustains you through every storm, comes from within. It's not about controlling the world around you. It's about mastering yourself in the midst of it. In the past few moments, we've talked about how to build the foundation of peace, how to strengthen your resilience, how to create habits that will carry you through life's ups and downs. But now, we take it a step further. We take responsibility for how we feel, think, and react in every situation. Because in the end, your reactions, your mindset, your inner dialogue, they're the only things you can truly control. The world can throw anything it wants at you, but if you can control how you respond to it, you will always remain the master of your fate. To become the master of your inner world means cultivating awareness and self-discipline every day. It's about choosing your thoughts, your words, and your actions deliberately. You can no longer afford to be a passive observer in your own life, letting emotions and outside circumstances dictate your every move. You are the creator of your reality, and this reality begins with how you think about it. Imagine a life where you no longer react impulsively. Imagine a world where, when the pressures of life hit you, you don't lose your cool, you don't spiral into anger or frustration, but you pause, take a breath, and consciously choose how to respond. That's not just a dream. It's a reality you can start creating today. The first step in this process is to embrace the present moment. Most of us are constantly either reliving the past or worrying about the future, but true mastery begins when you can train yourself to come back to the present. The present is where your power lies, right here, right now. It's the only time you truly have to act. It's where your decisions are made, where your actions take place. To master your inner world, you must first master your attention. Wherever your focus goes, your energy follows. If your focus is scattered, then so is your energy. But if your focus is sharp, clear, and intentional, your energy becomes a force that propels you forward. Next, cultivate emotional awareness. A huge part of mastering your inner world is understanding how your emotions influence your thoughts and actions. Emotions are not bad, they're powerful signals, a natural response to the world around us. But too often, we let our emotions control us. We let our anger dictate our words, our fear dictate our decisions, and our sadness define our day. What if you could feel your emotions without letting them take over? What if you could observe them without being consumed by them? You are not your emotions. Emotions come and go, but who you are remains constant. By developing emotional awareness, you can begin to recognize the patterns in your emotional responses. When you feel angry, for instance, rather than immediately reacting, you pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is this emotion telling me? This pause gives you control. It gives you power. Self-discipline is key in maintaining control over your inner world. The world today bombards us with distractions. We're constantly overstimulated, constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. And in the midst of all that, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, to react to every demand and every pressure, to respond without thinking. But self-discipline allows you to break free from that constant reactivity. Discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being strong enough to make the right choices for your well-being, even when it's difficult. It's about saying no to distractions, saying no to unhealthy habits, saying no to toxic influences. Self-discipline is about saying yes to what nurtures you, what empowers you, what builds you up. Imagine starting every day with a clear intention, a solid commitment to yourself to take positive actions, to protect your peace, to nurture your mind and body. Imagine taking consistent steps every day to strengthen your mental and emotional resilience, to build your strength from the inside out. That is the foundation of mastery. And another crucial part of becoming the master of your inner world is learning to detach from external validation. It's easy to get caught up in seeking approval, whether from others or society, but true mastery comes from within. When you stop relying on others for your sense of self-worth, you free yourself from the chains of external expectations. You become anchored in who you truly are, not in who others expect you to be. Think about how much energy you could save if you didn't constantly seek validation from outside sources. What if you trusted your own intuition and inner wisdom more than the opinions of others? Imagine the confidence you would have, the peace you would feel, knowing that your worth is not dependent on anything external. To become the master of your inner world means to take full responsibility for your life. It means owning your choices, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. When you fully embrace this responsibility, you stop blaming others or circumstances for how you feel. You realize that you have the power to create your experience, no matter what happens around you. So how do you start? It starts by making small, consistent choices. Begin by pausing before you react. Pause when you feel triggered. Pause when life gets overwhelming. Pause when you feel yourself slipping into negative thought patterns. This pause is powerful. It is your first step in mastering your mind and your emotions. In that space, you can choose a different response, one that aligns with your values, your goals, and your purpose. Next, create space for silence. Silence is the antidote to chaos. It is in the quiet moments that we reconnect with ourselves. Take time each day to sit in silence, to breathe, to simply be. In these moments, you create the space for clarity, for insight, for reflection. You allow your mind to reset, your emotions to stabilize, and your body to recharge. Silence is where your inner world is nurtured and strengthened. Lastly, nurture your mind and body. A master knows the importance of balance. Your mind, body, and spirit are all interconnected. To truly master your inner world, you must take care of all three. Feed your body with nutritious food, move it regularly, and rest when it needs to. Stimulate your mind with positive, uplifting thoughts, with growth-oriented ideas, with wisdom from the greatest thinkers in history. And nourish your spirit by doing things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace. When you tend to your mind, body, and spirit, you are strengthening the foundation of your inner world. In conclusion, becoming the master of your inner world is a journey, not a destination. It is a lifelong practice, but it's one that will serve you in every area of your life. It will allow you to navigate life's challenges with grace, strength, and peace. It will help you create a life that is not defined by external circumstances, but by your inner mastery. When you take control of your inner world, you take control of your destiny. So, I invite you today to take the first step on this path of inner mastery. Start with one small change, a moment of pause, a moment of presence, a commitment to a new habit, a decision to take full responsibility for your inner world. The more you practice this, the more powerful you will become. And before we finish, I want to leave you with a thought. You have everything you need inside you right now to create the life you want. It's not about finding peace or power outside of yourself. It's about cultivating it from within. You have the strength, the resilience, and the ability to shape your inner world. The only question is, will you choose to master it? I believe you will. Take the reins, create your peace, and let nothing move you from your center. This is your journey, and the world is waiting to see you walk through it with power, peace, and purpose. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who need this reminder too. And remember, your peace is sacred. Protect it, guard it, cultivate it. You are the master of your inner world, and that is where your true power lies. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep mastering your inner world.